What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Bottom Line on Sports,
Hmm.
our show where the intersection about money and sports. He's Jeremy Pink. I'm Jean-Jacques Taylor, and this is your post Father's Day edition of the show. What did you do for Father's Day? Anything special, fun, exciting?
I was home alone. Both of my kids are in LA working, and my wife fled the country. So I sat home alone and I watched the US Open. What about you?
I was in Phoenix with my brother, my son, my grandson, celebrating the Taylor Fathers. It's a little annual thing that we started to do, and it was a good time we had by all. But that 2 hour time difference, only 2 hours, is kicking my behind since I just got back
Yeah.
home today.
So so
Uh,
in, so in other words, you sort of have a healthy family relationship, and I was alone. As long as we get that straight. Yeah. That's
yeah, I
none of
mean,
that's surprising. Yeah.
uh, yeah, you can say that. It hadn't always been like that, but it's like that now, and that's what matters. We've got a number for you. We like to start every show with a number, and I'm gonna give you the honors. The number is what this week?
The number is $415,000.
I'd like to take that home.
Okay. Well, that's what your buddy, your new Dallas soulmate, Dusty May, well, that's what he earned his first year when he took the Florida Atlantic job in 2018. $415,000. And now just got named the Dallas Mavericks coach. We're speculating he's probably going to make what, 8 to 10 million?
At least if you consider he had signed a deal with 5 for 25 at Michigan, but that was before he won the national championship. So he was going to be one of the highest paid coaches in college basketball. And for him to go to the Mavericks, I'm sure they had to match, if not surpass, whatever he was going to make as one of the highest paid coaches in college basketball.
So you follow the Mavericks closely, as closely as anybody. Is he going to be worth it for the Mavericks? Do you think he'll make a difference? I mean, what's your feeling
You know
about
what, man? He's a very interesting hire. He's a bold hire, and so here's the deal to me: you can't really criticize an organization when they make a bold hire, because it's easy to find a retread NBA coach and bring him in. That requires no imagination, no creativity. It's nothing bold or innovative about that. And so they took us. They're swinging big now, and there hasn't really been a college coach. I forget the last one. It was like 2018, who came from winning a championship into the NBA. Brad Stevens had some success
Billy
from
Donovan, maybe from
yeah,
Florida? Yeah.
he's been good, but he hadn't been. I don't think he's been special as an NBA coach. And here's the deal: he preaches defense, and you can tell that by their first pick, Jones, who's kind of a defensive-minded athletic player who they took in the first round from Michigan. Um, but his other thing is he's supposed to be a great communicator, which helps in the NBA where you got so many divas and so many stars. And here's the biggest change for a guy like Dusty May to the NBA, and how quickly he adjusts to this will determine, at least to some degree, the level of success he has. Do you know what that is?
I don't. How he gets along with the star players?
That's a good question. I mean, that's certainly a key component. No, man, all these college coaches are used to having these long practices where they put out
Oh, right, right.
where they implement all their great
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
philosophical
You don't have
things.
those anymore.
You ain't got no time to practice in the NBA.
Yeah, but
You
you know
have
what I think?
training camp.
You may have said this to me also, but you know what I think about NBA coaches in general? I'm
What's
not
that?
sure how helpful they're going to be, but they can really hurt a team.
Yeah.
And you saw that. I think you saw that with the Spurs against the Knicks. I think that had
Oh
they had,
yeah.
yeah, had they had a more seasoned coach or a veteran coach or someone who'd been there before, I'm not sure the Knicks would have won that series. But
Right.
um, so Dusty May, is it worth it? Is it worth paying somebody 8 to 10 million? Maybe, but
Yeah. And I
is he
think
going to make that much of a difference? I don't know.
no, and the good thing is the Mavericks will have when you have a guy like Dusty May taking over, they're probably going to put a younger team together. They got Cooper Flag. They took two guys in the first round next year, both of whom they expect to play, because they took like a two guard who has some point guard abilities, who was playing for the Spanish championship yesterday, and
Oh
that's
yeah,
like
yeah. He's a young guy too. He's
yeah,
like, yeah,
I think
yeah.
he's 20. And
Yeah, he like the youngest MVP of the Spanish league.
yeah,
Yeah,
and the Spanish league, by most accounts, is the most competitive European league out there. So take that into consideration. Somebody was telling me that, because of his age, had he played in like the NCAA instead of Europe, he'd have been a lottery pick.
I
But
believe
since
that. Yeah, I believe that.
and so they moved back into the first round to get him. And so my point is, you're bringing a college coach. You're integrating these young players, and it's a chance. Like the biggest problem for the Mavericks is, and they can solve it. Somebody who's run several companies, you understand it. We can either kind of go where we are, or we can kind of strip it down and get assets and then try to rebuild it around
Mhm.
these young guys while we have a young coach, because the fan base won't be so hard on us if they
Yeah,
see.
it essentially buys you a few years, really, is
Right,
what
if
it
they
does.
see that we got a plan. So you can say, okay, if you're going to build around Cooper Flag and the two first round picks they got and Derek Lively, the Mavericks, because they were built to win the championship just 2 years
Uh,
ago. They got Kyrie Irving, who you can trade. They got PJ Washington, who you can trade. They got several pieces that you can trade and get really good assets for and build something where you've got some first round picks coming up over the next few years to really redo your roster and give Dusty May something to work with. And this year,
yeah.
because there are no great expectations, he can learn on the job because it's no different than anybody.
Hmm.
The first time you do anything, you make mistakes. So the first time he's going through the NBA as a head coach,
Yeah.
he's going to screw up several
So,
things.
so Dusty May or Dusty May not. We don't know yet.
I love it,
There you
but I
go.
think I think when it's all said and done, he'll be worth the money. I talked to a couple of people who I trust their opinions on the NBA, and they thought it was an innovative selection. And you got to trust in Masai Ujiri
Yeah,
running it
he's very
right.
good. Yeah, very good.
So you got to. I hate to say this, you got to trust the process, and you got to trust what
Unless you're
he's
in Philly.
done,
Yeah,
and trust his
yeah.
background, and trust that they're building something that will have some long term sustainability. But um, my biggest, I'm trying to think what my biggest salary jump was, because my father gave me some advice one time. I was in college, and I might have been out of college, but the advice was, he goes, throughout your career, you'll probably have, and I'm me being a journalist, so it's a journalism career. He's like, throughout your career, you may have one or two, maybe three times where you really have all the leverage. And he goes, when you have those opportunities, you have to swing the. He said you have to swing Thor's hammer, and you got to swing it mightily and get all you can get on those two or three times in your career where somebody's really after you hard, and they're like, "Oh, you're the difference between us winning and losing as a business or whatever." And he goes, "That's when you get your biggest jumps, and that's when you can set yourself up, because the next time you move, you've already elevated yourself to a certain level." And I did that a couple times. And it was that was the deal. You just ask for whatever and hope that you get it at those times.
That's good. I think it's good. I think it's good advice. Going back to Dusty May for a second, it's a very similar move to what the Celtics did with Brad Stevens,
Mm-hmm.
8, 9 years ago, and he was that seemed to work out, and he then they bumped him up to
I
the
was gonna
front
say he's
office.
still with the organization,
Yeah,
so
yeah. So
he was
that
worth the
that
money, and hopefully Dusty May will be worth the money. Bottom line for me, Dusty may or may not, but I think he might.
so right. So you're in other words, he's bottom line for me. He's a Dusty maybe. Yeah.
I like that. Speaking of the NBA, huge trade. You know what, man? Um, Here's the problem with the NBA right now. If you live in Dallas, if this only applies if you live in
So
Dallas.
you fired the GM already, so the problem's gone. Yeah.
No, 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 no. Yes, the problem is gone, but what remains is everybody in Dallas has PTSD, because anytime there's a trade like Giannis, you go. So here's the deal. And I was looking it up. So Giannis, uh, I'm sorry, I thought I had this here.
Giannis going to
So
the Heat.
Giannis gets traded
Yeah.
for Tyler Hero, Khalil Ware, Jaime Jaquez Jr., Casper Giannis, 3 first-round picks, and then they swap a second-round pick. And you just go, and all you got for Luka Doncic was one player and 1 first-round pick.
Right.
And it just reminds you
Oh, I
the
see. I see. From
absurdity
a
of that
Dallas, yeah,
trade.
the Dallas PTSD. I see that. Yeah.
It just because that's the normal haul for a player, and he's an aging player now.
Hmm.
So the trade for Luca was supposed to be 3 or 4 players and 3 or 4 first-round picks.
Hmm.
What didn't matter what players, but you're supposed to get 3 or 4 first-round picks, and then use those picks and those players to wheel and deal and do all this other stuff. Now I got that off my chest because clearly I still have PTSD. Giannis to Milwaukee is cool. The Heat, they add him to Bam Adebayo, and maybe they can compete. Of course, now it raises a bigger issue: is can you sign any other players?
Now,
Because Giannis cost a small fortune.
yeah, I mean, with the latest NBA CBA and sort of the restrictions on just the restrictions just on the amount of money you can pay. No, the answer is no. You have, Wiggins, who's a decent player. Wiggins has a, player opt-in, which if he takes that, that's going to restrict the amount of money that they can pay. If they try to sign Norman Powell, I don't think they'll have enough money to even sign Norman Powell. So what you end up happening, this is sort of indicative of a trend in the NBA, which is that yes, this is not the NBA of 10 years ago where you amass 3 superstars and then you figured out how to deal with a luxury tax and then you were a great team.
Right.
This is about, well, I'm going to sign a superstar for a maximum amount of money, and it might work and it might not, but I'm certainly not going to have the money to put pieces around him to be in immediate contention, which then goes back to the OKCs of the world and the San Antonios of the world, which essentially have built around a lot of good young players on less expensive contracts, not dissimilar to you got to win a Super Bowl in the first 5 years of a good quarterback's contract.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, once you start paying them, you're not going to get enough players around them.
Yeah, something. The NBA has typically been pretty good about this until the last CBA. And what was cool about the NBA is they had set it up where you could pay your own guys whatever essentially
Right.
to keep them.
That's true.
But then they implemented these tax things that kind of stops you from doing that. And it's a to me it's a never-ending quandary that you put teams in. And just as a capitalist and an American, I can never tell a player, "Oh, you should take less money, man,
No
to
way.
make the team better." Which is what fans. Let me say this: fans who would never do this at their own job
I'm with you.
demand of players. Um, and it isn't helped when Jalen Brunson takes $100 million less, but to help the Knicks out. But what you have to understand about that situation is that was an outlier situation. The GM is his godfather. The assistant coach is his dad. So if I want to take less money to play for my godfather and play with my dad, that's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Mr. Pink. Plus, if I do what I'm supposed to do, which I should do, and I'm supposed to do, I also set myself up for a $400 million contract 2 years later.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's not it puts the burden on the player
Yeah.
to manage a salary situation when that shouldn't happen. I mean, even look at LeBron right now. LeBron LeBron's value to any franchise is incredibly high, but he's not going to be able to move because nobody's going to have the salary cap space necessary to sign him now. You know,
Right.
it's and you could end up in a situation like baseball, where like a lot of the money is going to like a handful of franchises. And that's different because baseball is a little bit different because basketball, one or two players can completely turn around your franchise. That's unlikely to
Right.
happen in baseball. It kind of can happen in football, but only with a quarterback.
Yeah.
Basketball is a little bit different in that regard, but it's tricky. I mean, I don't know if you are
Yes.
a fan of a team, do you want to get a superstar to come in, or what you want to do is get as many draft choices as you can, find a young guy who's not making as much money, and then build around him for a few years and then disband the team.
I think tricky is the right situation, is the right word because as a fan base, you're trying to win a title. And fan bases, it's all symbiotic, but it's all weird. It's all tricky because fan bases they don't care about players at all. They care about did you help us win a championship, and then once you show any bit of human frailty and you're not the player you used to be, I think it's time for him to go, man. He's not doing what he used to do. I see that. I'm gonna take a quick exit ramp. I see that in Dallas right now. Corey Seager, shortstop, leads the Texas Rangers with a phenomenal season and offseason. Leads the Texas Rangers to their first World Series title in 50 years or whatever. 2 years ago, in 2023, 3 years ago, he's having an average season, not a good one, but an average season. Fans are like, they gotta get rid of him. He's got to go. It costs too much money. Da, da, da. I'm like, just 3 years ago,
Hmm.
he
Right,
delivered some of the
right.
iconic moments in franchise
Yeah.
history. World Series MVP. Now I got to go. So my point is, Giannis, who's making 58 million this year and 62 million next year, it ain't on him. It's on the Heat to figure it out. But you know what? You know the only reason we have a salary cap in place because I don't believe in a salary cap. I like baseball. Basically spend what you want. I like the Premier League.
I
Hey
agree.
man,
I agree. Both
dude.
phenomenal
Hey,
leagues. Yeah,
Pink, if you want to spend all the money so your team can win every
yeah.
championship, well, damn it, I should have spent more money so we
Uh-huh.
could win.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Well, I know what you're going to say because you say it all the time, but yeah,
what am I going to say?
about why there's a salary cap.
Yes, to prevent owners from spending because they can't control
Exactly. Right.
themselves.
Right.
They can't control themselves, so they
Right.
say,
It's to
"Let's have a
protect
salary
owners
cap."
from themselves. That's exactly what it is. Yeah.
That's why they're protecting them from themselves
Yeah.
because they're geniuses and all these businesses that they own to get these billions of dollars. Then they get a sports franchise and lose their mind.
Hmm.
They literally lose their mind.
It's because it's not treated as a business. It's treated as some sort of combination of business and vanity project.
Yeah.
And that's
So,
and then you make irrational decisions.
and the other thing is, if you tell Jeremy Pink, "Hey Pink, I need you to take less money so we can win,"
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
and you go, "No, no, that's not. That's
Right.
right." And you
Right.
go, "For sake of this conversation, okay, owner Taylor, I'll take less money." You have no idea whether I'm really going to put that money back into the team
That's true too.
or whether I'm going to spend it wisely.
Yeah.
I might spend it unwisely, or I might not spend it at all.
Yeah.
Well, Jeremy, I saved this money, but there's really no free agents for us to go get. And you're just like, dude, I just gave up $100 million for you to put it in your pocket. I mean,
Yeah.
it's insane, man.
So what do you think about Giannis? Giannis better off in Miami, better off going to Boston, or it didn't matter?
No, I don't think it mattered. I like Pat Riley. I think Pat Riley will figure out a way to make it happen. Um, the way you get around this is you have to have Cowboys were really good at this for a long time. Now they're just like run of the mill. Cowboys were really creative in the 90s in how to circumvent the cap, how to get around the cap, how to work through the cap. And now they're not. And that's why their team is kind of stuck in the abyss. So I like Pat Riley. I'm gonna say he's going to figure out a way, some kind of way to get it done. At least create a because what happens is you're trying to create just a small window for them to make it happen.
Mhm.
And man, if you got to go top heavy, then you just got to go top heavy.
Yeah, I
Uh,
I think the East still is very weak, and Miami made it in as an eighth seed, a few years ago into the NBA Finals. I just think the East is so weak in general that I think they have a chance. I think they have got they'll have a decent sized front line. They have a good defensive team. I think they have as good of a chance as any. I mean, I don't think they're in, the Knicks or maybe the Celtics or maybe the Pistons, but there isn't a great team in there that you don't look up and go, oh my God, I got to go through OKC or I got to go through San Antonio. You go,
Right.
all right, I got to go through Detroit. I could possibly, if Giannis gets hot, I can handle Detroit. If the Knicks play like they did against the first couple of games against the Pacers, I can handle the Knicks.
All right.
So remember the Pacers made it through to the NBA Finals 2 years ago. So
Uh,
I think the East is eminently winnable if the team gets hot, and I think we've seen that for the last 2 years.
I'm curious. I'm taking another exit ramp. What do you think? And this is just a what if question.
Mhm.
What what do you think the impact on Jalen Brunson's wallet will be for the offseason for the season that he had? Like, will he become the next face of the NBA? Will we see him on, 27 commercials and all of that? Will he be able to take advantage of Madison
Sure,
Avenue?
sure, because he's a New York player. The Knicks were a very well liked team. I think he'll get a lot of endorsements. I really do. I think he'll get a lot of endorsements. He's not the face of the league, though. I don't think. I mean that's such an arbitrary thing anyway. But I don't
Right.
think he's going to. Yeah, I think he was lightning in a bottle for about 2 to 3 months, and is a phenomenal story. And I think he'll build on that. Definitely collect a ton of endorsements. And yeah, yeah. So I think he'll definitely capitalize on it for sure.
Well, this goes back to Giannis and it goes to Brunson. My father and I were having a conversation. Now, we're splitting hairs about all of this. And he was asking me is because I have different levels of NBA players. He said, is Jalen Brunson a superstar? I go, I don't know. I know he's a star. I don't know if he's a superstar. And my father says, what's the difference? And I go, well, superstars has longevity behind him. The reason I say Luka is a superstar, Shea is a superstar, Giannis is probably a superstar is they start the game with 28 and it's where we go from here. Because
Well,
go ahead.
no, I'm sorry to cut you off. I think it's this, right? Yes, I think that's fair. I think that's one measure. I think another measure is imagine you could go to one game a year and you had to save up all year to go to that game and you wanted to
Yeah.
see one player. Who is that player?
Yeah.
That's going to be, I want to see Luka. I want to
Right.
see Wemby.
Yeah.
I probably want to see Steph Curry. I probably
Yeah.
want to see LeBron. Do I want to see Brunson? I don't
That's a
think, I don't
that's a
think
great
he's,
way to put it. I
I
hadn't
don't
thought
think
about
he,
it from that
I don't
perspective.
think he's there. I mean, I think that's what a superstar is. Superstar is
Okay.
something that transcends the actual statistics and the actual sport itself. It's
All
something beyond
right.
that. Yeah. And
Okay, I like that.
I think Brunson's a phenomenal player. If you want to create a separate category, and by the way, I don't think Shea falls in that category either. I don't think people would say, oh, I want to pay to see, I don't think people would pay to see Shea, but I think Curry, LeBron, Wemby, Luca, I'm probably
Is
missing a
Kevin
couple.
Durant in that list?
I think he used to be for sure. I don't know if he is now, but I think he used to be. I think
Okay.
Cooper Flag will soon be in that list.
I think Cooper Flag will be there because
Yeah.
his game has a charisma to it.
Yeah, I exactly. I think that's it. It's something that it's why the viewership there's a number of reasons why the viewership of the NBA final was up so much. A was New York and it's a great story, but it's also Wemby
Yeah,
because Wemby everybody knows who Wemby is. So you
right.
ask the non-NBA fan, you put up a picture of somebody, they'll know Wembanyama far more than they'll know Brunson, and that means that Wembanyama has Wemby's now a superstar in my opinion.
All right, no, that's a good way to think about it. See, that's good. I thought about it like that in football, but I should have thought about it like that in basketball.
Yeah,
Yeah, who would you pay money to go see?
yeah,
Yeah,
and I would
I
pay
like that.
I
That's
would
good.
pay money. I definitely I and by the way, you know who I think we might pay money to see in a couple of years is Darren Peterson and Darius Acuff from the draft yesterday.
Yeah,
We're taping on a Wednesday, so yeah, the draft
yeah,
was yesterday.
I can see that. I can see that.
Yeah.
Bottom line for me, Pat Riley will figure out how to get Giannis his championship window and see if they can at least legitimately go compete for a title in the next 3 years.
Bottom line for me is the East stinks, and Giannis, if he gets hot, the Heat could emerge from the East, but the Heat could also be a play-in team next year. It's because the East is just unpredictable.
The World Cup has been thus far. I told a friend of mine who's a soccer guy, I said, dude, this has been a phenomenal tournament because they've been playing aggressive, attacking soccer, and the superstars of the world have shown up, whether it's Messi, Ronaldo, Mbappe, my man
Holland,
from yeah,
early
from
Holland, yeah.
Norwegian, Norway. All the superstars are doing their thing, and when they're doing their thing, I mean, then you see the best of the best. The goalies, I mean, it's been great. The goalies have been great. I mean, it's been some. I mean, it's been a hell of a tournament. It's been the last tournament didn't seem to, I mean, the last tournament was cool, but it didn't seem to be like this one. This one
Last
seems to
tournament
be
was also
great.
post-COVID. It was at an odd time in an odd
Yeah,
place. Yeah,
this has been great.
it was tough. Well, the thing that's amazing is that, from a money point of view, Fox, which is the main broadcaster of this, it pays $500,000, half
Half
about
a billion.
half a billion, $500 million for the rights to this. And this is like that is one of the biggest bargains right now in any sports rights anywhere in the country, considering that the billions that are paid for the NBA and for the NFL. And I was reading somewhere that there's an estimate that the World Cup final, and I think you sort of gave this caveat, particularly if there's decent teams, whether they're superstars or the U.S. is playing, which is highly unlikely, but that the viewership could rival that of like not the Super Bowl, but maybe of like an NFC or an AFC championship game, which is a pretty remarkable number. And the ads are like going crazy selling, it's been a just phenomenal viewership and success for the advertisers so far.
Oh no, man, it's hard to think that you spent 500 billion on something and you're like, what a bargain. Boy, did we get
500
off on
million.
this. Yeah, 500 million.
Yeah, 500 billion would not be a bargain. 500 million is a bargain. Yeah.
But I think they've gotten their money's worth.
Oh my gosh, I think this is a just a phenomenal deal for Fox. The viewership is going through the roof. Interest in this is good. The question though is, does the interest in the World Cup, how sustainable is it once the U.S. is knocked out? And
Um,
are the superstars going to drive that? Is the Mbappe? I mean,
yeah, see, I think the superstars will drive it. Just like the last time you have a France Argentina final.
oh, what a what a
So
what a great
if
match.
you have if you have one of the big four, France, Argentina, Spain, England, Portugal, if they're playing each other and the US, I don't think the US is getting to the final, but Brazil, like Brazilians are
Yeah,
playing good right now. So if you have any one of those marquee teams
yeah,
get to the finals, it's going to blow it off because you're going to have what you want. You're going to have really good teams, but you're going to have superstars playing, and that's going to draw. I
yeah.
mean, can you imagine? Again, Messi and Mbappe going back and forth in the final. I mean, I think it was 3-2 the last time. I mean, it's so
It was incredible. Yeah. Is
yeah.
and so I'm actually one of the most bearish people that I know on the US team. Uh I think they've played two pretty mediocre teams,
All right.
and I'm fearful. I mean, it looks like the draw is going to work in their favor. They'll probably make it to the round of 16. I doubt they'll move beyond the round of 16 unless I've completely misread this team.
No, I think yeah, I mean, I think somebody just said that if it works it out, they don't have to. They won't. They'll kind of get to the round of 16 without really playing one of the dominant teams,
Right, right.
which is fine. And it ain't our fault. The
Yeah, that's
bracket ended up like that,
you play who you play. Yeah,
and then it becomes, can you get lucky? And the other thing is, and this is the beauty of sports. You have no idea what the collective mindset is once you start winning. And that's why this Turkey game is really interesting. Like, you don't need to win it to advance, but you're playing well. You got all this momentum. So you're like, well, we don't want to get anybody hurt, but you really want to play well and continue feeling great about yourself going into the knockout round. And so, but you got 3 or 4 guys with yellow cards. Okay, I don't want to play them.
You can't play them. Yeah.
So they get suspended.
Yeah.
Okay, we won without Pulisic. Do we really want to put Pulisic in the knockout round and he ain't played in 3 weeks?
Well, no, Pulisic says he's going to play against Turkey.
Okay,
Yeah.
good. So, it's all those things because you're trying to keep it going because they don't have a history of winning. So the more you win, the more confident you become. You know, the beauty for them is they've been playing from ahead, so they haven't had to play from behind and feel any pressure, and they've been front runner,
That's a very good point. Yeah.
and that's great. And they've been scoring early, so they've been playing
Well,
ahead and
the
free.
other team's been scoring early for them in both games. Yeah.
But
But
that's because of the pressure that they put
there
on
you
them.
go. There you go. I'm very bearish
So
on. And I don't want to be, but I'm very bearish. I think two teams that look don't. I can't say the United States doesn't look good, but come on, they played against Australia. Come on, and uh,
But
you know,
when you okay, check this out. This is what we used to say about the Cowboys. Um, and I'm gonna use this as it applies to the United States. The United States is not good enough for us to style point their wins. Like Brazil, Argentina, we style point their wins because you're supposed to be dominant. You're supposed to do this. The U.S. ain't got no history. So the U.S. you win.
you win, you move on, right? Yeah,
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 because
yeah.
you're not good enough for
That's
us to
true.
sit there and say
Yeah,
you should be this, you should be that, or how come you only won by 1 goal, and how come your defense? No, man, they're not good enough. They ain't got no history. So however they get down, and however they figure out a way to win, we don't style point them. Now, if they keep this up and they have a nice run next World Cup, we can style point them.
yeah. Yeah. We'll see. I think but look, the interest in the World Cup is pretty amazing. I've traveled a lot in the last few weeks. It is the talk of everywhere I've been. It is the crowds are incredible that they're drawing. There's watch parties for a lot of these matches, in different cities around the country. It's pretty remarkable. And I think,
Bro,
no, listen, I think that if you get some of the marquee teams and marquee players moving ahead into the final, into the quarters or the semis, this could be this could be a huge, huge, huge event, like much bigger than I think anybody anticipated here in the U.S.
uh, no, I don't disagree with you. I had a friend of mine because my son's in town for about a week. His sons are from college for about a week. And he texted me today and he said, "Hey, we should take the fellas to the World Cup watch party on Sunday
Hmm.
in downtown Dallas." He
Hmm.
said, "Because it's going to be wild." And and it's even more of an event than just a pure soccer thing. So I think it's blowing up, man. And I think you're right. I think the U.S. playing well has a lot to do with it.
Huge.
And then when you throw in the other stars, the people that you heard about showing up, and I think you mentioned it last week. It's like the Super Bowl. You're getting a lot of casual fans, and so when the casual fans say, "Oh, I've heard of Messi," "Oh, wow, he scored,"
Yeah.
it just draws you in, and
Yeah.
then you can see just how great they are at what they do.
Yeah. That's one of my takeaways, which is certainly not you know, a revelation by any means, but every time I watch Messi, and I watch some soccer, but not a huge amount. Every time I watch Messi, he'll do something in a game where you go, "Oh my God, he's really, he,
He's Messi.
he's special. He's really like one of those, oh my gosh, I'm glad I got to watch Messi. He's
Um,
really a remarkable player."
I'm not exaggerating. I think I told you I had a season ticket consortium with the Mavericks the last couple of years, and really, that's what Luka Doncic was. And when you're talking about superstars that we're talking about, every single game, Luka would do one or two things that would have you going, "Oh my God, who does that?"
Right.
And so you felt like, oh, he was worth the price of admission
Of course.
because every game he did something, pass, shot,
Yeah.
rebound, whatever, that was just like, I cannot believe this dude just did
Hmm.
that. And I was telling my friend that, Messi had a goal the other day, and I was like, he was running free down the middle of the pitch. And I'm like, how does he run free? And we were talking, I'm like, he ran free because he wasn't sprinting. He was just kind of moving because he was seeing the game at a level that
That's
everybody else
yeah, yeah.
wasn't seeing. And so he didn't have any urgency to it because he's like, oh, I'll just lope right here, set myself up. And as soon as they pass to the middle, there I am one time at boom,
Mhm.
goal. And I was just like, unbelievable. But he felt like a point guard right there where he saw the play
Well, you know
before
who
everybody else.
you know who he reminds me of, and this is again not a nothing new and probably has been said a million times, is he reminds me of watching Gretzky, you know,
Yeah, I can see that.
because Gretzky was always somehow in the right place at the right time. He always saw a split second or two ahead of everybody else, and that's Messi every time. He winds up in the right spot every time. He doesn't. You see a lot of strikers and a lot of scorers who kind of stand around and watch the action a little bit more. Messi is always moving, and it reminds me of the just sort of the anticipatory abilities of Gretzky and Messi
Yeah.
are so much more superior to some of the other players. It's almost like in tennis, what you see in tennis, if you watch it closely, is the great players anticipate where a shot's going to go, or can return a serve, better than everybody else because of the some sort of intrinsic anticipatory ability that you see with professional tennis players, with Gretzky, and with Messi. It's pretty. I think he's a remarkable talent that transcends all of sports. He's
No,
an amazing player.
no, it's worth the price of admission.
You know,
And it's worth watching the game just to see how he
worth it.
plays
He's worth it for
within the game.
Fox. I'll tell you that much. Yeah.
No, and then I looked it up because my son or somebody asked me the other day. He's 5'8", 145 pounds.
Which also that's also very appealing. Because most other sports you have to be. You physically can't play them unless if you're a baseball player and you can hit, you'll be able to play
Yeah,
baseball. And if you're a soccer player, you can be a smaller size.
I was gonna say because that low center of gravity makes it hard for you to move him and allows him to,
Mhm.
to really stay on top of the ball. Because it's really attached to his foot. But no, it's been a beautiful tournament. I'm gonna be sorry when it's over, but I'm enjoying it right now. And it's been great, man. Great.
Nice.
Bottom line for me, uh, who knew that 500 million would ever be considered the biggest bargain in sports?
Bottom line for me, uh, very fascinating what the next rights fees will go for the World Cup in the United States.
They're going to be off the charts.
They are going to be some of the most sought after rights fees. All of that said, depending on I don't know where the next few World Cups are. I should have looked that up. But if the time zones are good for the U.S.,
Oh, I forgot about that.
I
Yeah,
think
you need good time zones.
the rights fees will be incredible.
Before we get to our favorite part of the show, where we talk about some aspect of Ohio State, don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. We can use all the help we can get. I mean, look at us. Clearly, we need some help. Uh, so hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and drop a comment if you like. We're up for constructive criticism, kind of, sort of. But
Yeah.
that leads us into this Buckeyes of the Year safety, Caleb Downs. And what position does Joy Dunn play on the women's hockey team?
That I don't know. But she's a big time scorer if I recall correctly. But yeah, Ohio State named its two athletes of the year for 25-26. Uh, the
Oh,
Dallas Mavericks.
wow. Yeah, she scored 51 points, 27
Yeah,
goals. So
yeah,
she's some kind of forward.
yeah.
Um,
So the two players are the Dallas Mavericks, the Dallas Cowboys, Caleb Downs.
yeah, no, I mean,
Or yeah,
Caleb Downs is getting rave reviews in Dallas. Matter of fact, it seems absurd to me. Like, the everybody who you talk to with the Cowboys, oh my God, he's great. He's doing things we've never seen anybody do in a walkthrough. And you're just like, can y'all just settle down? Because you're building him up to such a point where if he ever gives up a 6 yard catch, the fan base will be he sucks. I thought y'all told me he was good. You know.
But
So,
that was a
but
good. I think that was a great pick by the Cowboys, though. I really do.
no, they got the Cowboys do this a lot now. They got lucky because he played a position that is not considered, game changing.
Yeah, he's not an edge. He's not a left tackle.
Right.
He's not a quarterback. He's not a receiver. Yeah.
But when you get those safeties like Derwin James and
Hmm.
Kyle Hamilton and Ed
Hmm.
Reed and Troy Polamalu who can dominate, and everybody says Caleb is that type of player, then it changed your entire defense. So I'm looking forward to watching him play. I think he'll be, even though the praise has just been, Bill Parcells used to say, let's put away the anointing oil. Can we
Right.
let's not get his bust ready for Canton yet. Can we just let him play a game
Right.
first before we say he's one of the all time greats? And I feel like that about Caleb. Can we just let him have a season of just playing and let's
Yeah.
see what he does? Even
Yeah.
though I expect him to be terrific.
Yeah.
And Joy, helping lead the women's American hockey team to a gold medal. That was cool because Canada's always been a thorn with
Yeah.
them for the
Listen,
last few years.
Ohio State women's hockey is
Elite.
one of the best. Yeah, it's one of the best programs of any college sport in the country right now. It is. It's. They have a new coach over the last 5 or 6 years. I can't remember exactly when she came in, and that program's amazing. Ohio State
Yeah.
was runner-up for the national title this year. You're right. She led them. She helped lead the women's national team to Olympic gold this year. It's
She
amazing.
was she was also said she was the youngest player on the Olympic team.
That I didn't know.
So
That's
she's a prodigy, and that probably means she has at least two Olympics left and maybe three, which is incredible. Uh, Here's the question, and I have not put any thought of it into this very moment.
That doesn't surprise me. Yeah.
Where do women hockey players go after college? Like
Uh,
women basketball players now go to the WNBA or
yeah,
they
I
go
think there's a
overseas.
women's professional hockey league.
Probably in Europe somewhere. Can't be in the
I think we
States.
should now I'm going to look that up. Uh,
It wouldn't shock me if there was one in Europe,
no, I
but
think
I
there's one
can't.
of the
I know, like even women's soccer players, they go play in soccer leagues.
yeah, it's terrible that I don't know that, by the way.
Well, I
Uh,
never thought about it.
yeah. The Professional Women's Hockey League, PWHL, which was launched in 2023 and played its first season in 2024. That's what I thought.
Really?
So, yeah, so it's in North
Okay.
America.
Where they got
Uh,
teams at? Because now I'm curious.
the inaugural 6 teams, the
Oh, the
original
original
six,
six.
Montreal, Ottawa, Toronto, Boston, Minnesota, New York, and expansion teams in Detroit, Hamilton, Las Vegas, San Jose, Seattle, and Vancouver, with some terrible names, by the way, just terrible.
Too many singular names.
Toronto, yes, Boston Fleet,
Okay, stop it.
Seattle Torrent.
Stop it.
Are you ready for this? And I kid you not, unless I'm completely wrong here, because I just did a quick search, so I'm not 100% sure of my accuracy. The Vancouver Golden Eyes.
Sound like a James Bond movie.
Yeah, man, that's not good. Uh, the Ottawa Charge, the Minnesota Frost. Yeah, it's not good.
They should have hired the JJT Media Group to do marketing and come up with
Yeah.
better names and logos than that.
You know what? When years ago, when Columbus, Ohio was getting a AAA baseball team, and this is a time when people actually cared a tremendous amount about baseball. I was a little kid. They're getting a AAA baseball team, and they had a contest. You can submit your name for the Columbus AAA baseball team.
Right.
Okay. They ultimately were named the Clippers, which is a pretty good name, Columbus Clippers.
Right.
Um, my name as a 8-year-old, 10-year-old, I don't even know how old I was, I submitted it. I thought I was so clever. The Columbus Discovery. Yeah, that's almost as bad as the Vancouver Golden Eyes, but that was my name, the Columbus Discovery. I thought I was so cool.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's put that in the box and not pull it back out. I would hold a contest and say, don't send me a singular nickname.
Yeah, I tend to agree. I think they seem almost too it's like a car name that feels too studied. Like
Yeah,
the yeah, like the Acura. That seems just to be such a that's not a real name, you know? You want to get you want like Dodge, that's a name, right?
yeah.
Not Acura, you know.
No.
Corvette. I know you partial like Corvette, that's a name, you know.
Yeah.
The Acura, the Integra, I mean those are workshop studied names, and that's what these names feel like for the Women's Professional Hockey League.
On that note, that seems like an ender. So we appreciate you hanging out.
You
We'll see you
you like
next.
what I get angry about, don't you? Yeah.
Hey, whatever motivates you,
Yeah,
buddy.
there you go.
He's Jeremy Pink. I'm Jean Jacques Taylor. This has been the bottom line on sports. We'll holler at you next week.
All right, we'll see you next week.